Percy sir, please begin.
So very good morning everyone, all the participants for this webinar series, short-term training program. And today is the World Food Day. This is a special day. For this special day, we have a special guest or expert with us, Dr. Suryavanshi sir. So I welcome Dr. Suryavanshi sir on the behalf of this Parle University, and thank you so much for you are accepting our this invitation for this webinar. And before to start this session, firstly I want to focus on this of this World Food Day. What we are far supposed to be far behind as compared to this developed countries. So what are the points are there we are supposed to be behind as compared to the developed countries. So take the one is that the major problem that we are facing, that is the food wastage. So everyone aware about this, millions of tons of food, good quality food we are wasting every day. If we convert that food waste into simultaneously food wastage is there. In that food waste we are wasting our money. uh, Such a money if we convert for the development of to create new policies for the development of the farmers overall and all those things, so it will be very helpful and beneficial. So the problems like farmer suicide, which is a special serious problem in our Maharashtra. If we do such a things, there is a possibility to decrease the this farmer suicide. And again, we have to support such a programs, such a policies, and such a uh, um, new programs at a root level. What is happening actually, we are unaware about such a things. In earlier lecture, Dr. Uh, Rashmi ma'am, Rashmi Rajan ma'am has explained about the importance of the how to implement such a programs or policies at a ground level. So if we focus on our root level, supposed to be from the school age, how to create awareness about the nutrition um, in children's and in students or in um, school level. Definitely the problem like malnutrition or the hunger we can reduce. And again is the many of the schemes and policies we are unaware about such schemes and policies, and such schemes and policies they are not such means our farmers or our food manufacturers, they are unaware about such a policies. So we have to create awareness regarding to that one, to increase our food processing rate. If we consider this food processing rate, we are still far behind as compared to the this developed countries. Um we have only the 10 to 12% food processing rate. If we consider our population, so this is supposed to be the very ill-suited one sector. This is the food processing sector. So to boost this food processing sector, what we have to do, uh, we have to respect our food, and we have to respect our food heroes, whatever means those who are producing or manufacturing to that particular food product. And we have to use the local food whenever if we support if we use the local food, what will happen uh, to that system, so that whatever the wastage, we can minimize the wastage if we use the local foods. And if we are promoting to sell our local food, so definitely helping the smallholder farmers uh, to increase their income level. And again, one of the major thing is that choose the seasonal food product. If you do such choosing the seasonal food product, we are reducing the carbon footprint, because we are aware about that for the transportation of our food from one place to another place. So again, we need some transportation facilities and all those things. If you are not using that particular food product seasonal, so again we are increasing some carbon food prints in the environment. So these are supposed to be the problems what we are facing related to this food processing industry. So as a food technologist, a dairy technologist, we must focus on these points to eliminate such a problems from our society and to bring a healthier India. So when this is possible, when all the food technology, dairy technologies, nutrients come together and do work on such a points or such a negative points, how to overcome such a problems, then it is possible. So as today is the World Food Day, this is a short message from me as a food technologist, uh, as a head of the food technology from the Department of Food Technology, Parul University. So to start the session, now I will request to our Dr. Kele sir, please introduce about today's expert or speaker before to start the session. Respected Kele sir, please
Sir,
continue.
thank you. Welcome to all of you for this 1 week STTP on the dairy and food processing for health
We
and
are not
well-being.
getting your voice clearly.
Sir, you are not getting voice? Hello?
Sir, now. Yes, sir.
It's audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I welcome to all of you on the ESTDP on dairy and food processing for health and well development. I wish you all of you on the eve of World Food Day on the behalf of dairy technology and food technology. Now I introduce one of the young scientists, Dr. Rahul Suryavanshi sir. He's my best friend and he's presently working as assistant professor in Department of Veterinary Public Health and Epidemiology, College of Veterinary and Animal Science, Udgir, Maharashtra Animal Fishery Science University, Nagpur. Sir has got the many more recognition throughout the international level also. So one of these, Dr. Rahul sir is a certified food analyst of Food Safety Standard Authority of India. Then he is also a recipient of IUSSTF PHFI Research Fellow, Indo-US Public Health Research Fellowship Award from 2012 to 13 for a year, Penn State University, USA. Then he has qualified both ICR as well as UGC NET along with the significance, research publication and international journal and the NCBI Gene Bank submission also. So he have the very good research background. Also, he has also worked as a scientist public health at Mumbai Veterinary College, Mumbai during 2014-15. Recently, in year 2019, he also become a IFBA, International Federation of Biosafety Association certified biorisk professional of the country. So today we are too much lucky enough to have such great personality with us. So I welcome Dr. Suryavanshi sir on the behalf of Oral University, and I hand over the session to Rahul Suryavanshi sir.
A very good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Dr. Vijay K. sir and Dr. Sir Todkar sir, for not a brief but actually in detail introduction to all of the audience. So today, shall we start with the presentation, sir?
Yes,
Directly?
sir. No problem. Okay, sir. Please proceed.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sure. Shall I just share the screen, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Screen is visible.
So, very good morning, everyone. Today it's World Food Day. This year's World Food Day marks the 75th anniversary of the founding of FAO. I am very much thankful to the management team of Purdue University for giving me an opportunity to talk on this auspicious occasion. Thank you, sir. This year, theme for World Food Day 2020 is Grow, Nourish, Sustain Together. Friends, the COVID-19 global health crisis has been a time to reflect on things we truly cherish and our most basic needs. Food is the essence of life and the bedrock of our cultures and communities. Preserving access to safe and nutritious food is and will continue to be an essential part of the response to the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly for poor and vulnerable communities who are hit hardest by the pandemic as well as resulting in economic shocks. In a moment like this, it's more important than ever to recognize the need to support our food heroes, farmers and workers throughout food system who are making sure that food makes its way from farm to food, even these amid disruptions as unprecedented as the current COVID-19 situation. So today, before we start the food safety thing, let's have an understanding of coronaviruses and the COVID-19. Let's see what is coronavirus and what is COVID-19.
Hello.
Here you can see, hello,
Uh,
am I
okay.
audible?
Yes, sir. But voice is not clear, sir. Something disturbance or something to be.
Voice is not clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it good now?
Yes, yes. Now. Now,
Hello.
sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
shall I continue with the thing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so here you can see this particular slide. In this, you can see the three different coronaviruses infections. In 2002-2003, the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, that is SARS-CoV, it was caused as a SARS epidemic, which resulted in a 10% mortality in 8,098 cases. Similarly, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus, that is MERS-CoV, what we call, is caused as devastating pandemic in 2012 with a almost 37 mortality rate in more than 2,500 cases. In latter 2019, a cluster of pneumonia cases in Wuhan city, province China, were identified as with a novel beta coronavirus. First, it was called the 2019 novel coronavirus and often referred as the Wuhan coronavirus. So, talking about these coronaviruses and how to differentiate them, you can see the all coronaviruses that have caused disease to human, they have had animal origins, generally either in bats or even rodents. Previous outbreaks of beta coronaviruses in human, they involve direct exposure to animals other than bats. In the case of SARS-CoV and MERS-CoV, they were transmitted directly to human from civet cats and the dromedary camels, respectively. In MERS, it was dromedary camels, and SARS, it was SARS-CoV, it was civet cats. While in December 2019, a cluster of fatal pneumonia cases which was presented in Wuhan, China, they were caused by a previously unknown coronavirus. All patients, they had been associated with the Wuhan whole food market where seafood and live animals, those are sold. That virus, it spread rapidly and public health authorities in China, they initiated a containment effort. However, by that time, traveler had carried that virus to many countries, sparking memories of the previous coronavirus epidemics like SARS and MERS, and causing widespread media attention and panic. Based on that clinical criteria and available serological as well as molecular information, that new disease was called as coronavirus disease of 2019, that is COVID-19. And that particular virus, that novel coronavirus, it was called as SARS-CoV-2. Just like SARS-CoV-1, it is SARS-CoV-2, emphasizing its close relationship to the 2002 SARS virus, which occurred in 2002. Since then, the whole, everybody knows that the scientific community, it raced to uncover the origin of the virus, understand the pathogenesis of that disease, developing treatment options, defining the risk factors, and working on the different aspects of vaccine development. So, while talking about the possible route of transmission of SARS-CoV or SARS-CoV-2 COVID-19 virus, well, there are so many different theories floating, and which everybody might have heard through different media reports. But the sequence similarity between SARS-CoV-2 and a bat coronavirus is observed to be about 96% resembling, suggesting them as a reservoir. Means bats are reservoir on the basis of that sequence similarity. While 97.4% of sequence similarity was observed to RBD region, that is receptor binding domain of pangolins. It's the possible human transmission, which ought to coming in contact with the pangolin. But the way it has been transmitted is still not clear yet. Also, there could be multiple hosts from the intermediate hosts. There is and information about distance intermediate host might be involved. The space which might be involved. Once into the lineage, it has different countries in the world, causing the health emergency across the globe. Talking current affairs, globe as of now, 30 and 20,109 confirmed, including 1,047 deaths reported to WHO.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Turkar sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Now.
Okay. So, whatever I spoke was quite audible.
Yes, yes, sir. Quite audible, but
Yeah.
uh, now it is good, sir.
Okay. Shall I continue then?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is my screen visible, sir? The presentation?
No, sir.
Okay. I need to reshare, I guess, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it visible now, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I was talking about the stats of COVID-19 in India. By that, I told you that regarding in India from January 3 till date, there have been 7,307,097 confirmed cases of COVID-19, which were reported to WHO, with 111,266 deaths occurred. Then in India, you can see the dashboard of WHO coronavirus COVID-19 in a sequence. You can see that India has surpassed Brazil to become the country with the second highest number of coronavirus cases. As the virus continues to spread through the country of 1.3 billion, at the fastest rate of anywhere in the world. India now only lags behind the United States. However, while cases in the US have begun to level off, the rate of infection in India is worsening by the day, with no signs of when it will hit the peak, and experts are predicting the South Asian country will soon tally the most cases in the world. That's how the things are going on. Now, talking about the mode of transmission of this particular COVID-19. The droplets from mouth or nose, those are released when a COVID-19 person coughs. And then those droplets, they fall on surface or objects. These droplets, they are too heavy to hang in the air. So they quickly fall on floor or surfaces. And further, it will be resulting in directly or indirectly infection. Like directly infection will be there when contaminated eye, while indirect infection may occur through contact surfaces when they are touched. These two COVID in coronavirus infection, typical symptoms are asymptomatic to mild flu, that is the temperature above 1999 degrees, dry cough, tiredness, shortness of breath, pneumonia-like symptoms, muscle pains, diarrhea, fatigue. Like a way means in different patients, one and other, or in some patients, even all this sort of symptoms. And the occurrence of these symptoms will be in between 2 to 14 days. Well, who is most at the risk, right? So we are learning more about how COVID-19 it affects the people every day. Older people and chronic patient appeared at a risk of developing severe symptoms. As this is a new virus, we are still learning about how it affects children and other vulnerable groups. We know it is possible for people of any age to be infected with the virus, but so far there are relatively few cases of COVID-19 reported among children. This is a new virus and we need to learn more about how it affects the children. The virus can be fatal in rare cases. So far, mainly among older people with pre-existing medical condition, this particular like mortality is observed. More mortality is observed in the more compromised people. Now, let us talk about the food safety in this COVID-19 pandemic. So far, there is no reported evidence of COVID-19 it getting transmitted through food, including poultry, seafood, whatever. However, like other viruses, the virus that causes COVID-19, it can survive on surfaces or objects. So for that reason, it is critical to develop and follow a robust food hygiene program to prevent the spread of the virus. So we must say that it is actually the responsibility of the food business operators, that is FBOs, what we say, to follow the proper GMP and GHP, that is good manufacturing practices as well as good hygienic practices, which are prescribed in Schedule 4 of Food Safety and Standards Regulation 2011. So whether does the COVID-19 gets transmitted through food? As I said, no. Like according to WHO and CDC and many other public health organizations, there is currently no evidence that the COVID-19 virus can be transmitted through food or even food packaging. This particular the COVID-19 is a respiratory illness and it spreads mainly through person-to-person contact. And direct contact with respiratory droplet generated when an infected person coughs or sneezes. The infectious dose of most respiratory virus is in general very low. So thus the handling or the consumption of food product, it could represent a risk for infection. That's why we are more concerned about it. So the current evidence say the current evidence that COVID-19 it's primary person to person rather than via food packaging. but it's always a good idea to prepare just food to learn do that per thing so say by following different GP and GH. So while doing so, all the FBOs that there are some golden rules should follow during this COVID to keep business like physical distancing. People they are in food should stay at least 2 meters from them. Then hello.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Sir, I thought that I got disconnected meanwhile, right?
No problem.
No,
Huh? Does it
No problem, sir.
happen,
Carry
sir?
on.
Okay. Okay. So again, I'm sharing the screen again.
You can continue from last slides.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
one?
Yes.
You
Yes.
saw?
yes, yes.
Last
Yes.
one?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, as I was talking about the GMP and GHPs, the current evidence says, the scientific evidence says whatever we are having, as per them, the COVID-19 it spreads primarily from person to person rather than the food or food packaging. So it's always better or it's always a good idea to prepare the nutritious food for ourselves at our families and to learn how to do that particular thing in a very safe manner. So whatever food business operators are there in the country, they should follow certain golden rules, the mandatory golden rules which were prescribed by FSSI, suggested by FSSI, uh, like physical distancing. Whatever people those are involved in the food businesses, they should obey the physical distancing. Like there should be at least 2 meter distance in between two persons who are working who are working in that food industry or uh, food setup. Then regular screening, thermal screening at the entry of that particular setup should be done, and the people those who are having more than 99-degree Fahrenheit temperature should not be allowed to enter in the premises. Stringent personal hygiene is a key of this COVID-19. Then whatever place is utilized for the preparation of food, it should be deeply clean and sanitized. And another but very important golden rule which was suggested by government of India, that the use of Arogya Setu app, by using which everybody can get an idea that how he's far from any COVID positive person, right? So that he can accordingly he can take a great care and he can arrange whatever situation is there in that particular food business setup. Apart from it, there are certain very important responsibilities of FBOs to follow, like the conduct of awareness training on COVID-19. So, awareness training on COVID-19 should be done to or followed to all food handlers on the regarding symptoms, spread, company procedures, then personal hygiene, social distancing, wearing of mask, safe food handling, and other things. Then apart from it, you are supposed to, being a food business operator, you are supposed to encourage your employee to come forward and to inform or declare if they are experiencing any sort of symptoms. Then there should be assurance of assistance and pay or job protection, in especially for the laborers or what we can say in the low income group of employees. Employers, they need to be aware and sensitive about workers' salary, leave, safety, health that can be like physical as well as mental, and some other issues during this particular pandemic occurring. Then these FBOs, they shall initiate the screening of all personnel, those who are working in that setup or entering in that premises, for their thermal screening, fever, fatigue, cough, can be dry or wet even, then shortness of breath or breathing difficulties. In nutshell, a no COVID-19 infected person should be allowed to enter in the premises. And it includes employee, visitors, drivers, contract laborers, or any person, whoever is entering in that particular setup. Then the people, those who are actually involved in handling of food, should take a great care of personal hygiene care, which is quite essential for the prevention of this COVID-19, like hand wash, which should be done for minimum 20 seconds as per the WHO guidelines. And it should be preferably followed by sanitation with 70% alcohol or equivalent. The staff of the food handler, they should be they should must wash and sanitize their hands after removing the street clothes and before touching the clean clothes which are utilized for food preparation. Then the face mask or covering and clean protective clothing, which should be worn by all of them. No gap should be observed after wearing the mask or cover. The face mask or cover, it should be changed after every 6 hours or as soon as they get wet. The reusable masks, they should be washed and sanitized. Disposable masks should be done separately in the closed bins. Then there should be strict implementation of no jewelry watches use policy. People, those who are involved in preparation of food, they should not be allowed to use any sort of jewelry or watches. And the most essential thing what everybody is carrying nowadays, that mobile, it should be sanitized after every entry at the work. Then the gloves, they should be worn during handling of ready to eat food, after which no other surface should be touched. Well, note that wearing gloves make you false sense of security, and means there is no substitute to hand washing and sanitizing to prevent COVID-19. That's the key to make sure that you are away from the COVID-19. Then regarding that respiratory hygiene, all the food handlers, they shall be adhere by covering mouths, nose, and while coughing, they should dispose of the tissue in closed trash bins, which should be closed. The trash bin should be closed one. Then all those workers, they should be encouraged to stay home if they are showing any sort of symptoms like coughing, fever, breathlessness. So they should be encouraged. Then the personnel, those who are close to infected person, they must do self quarantine or isolation as per the directions of the government. The isolated person to use dedicated toilet and washing area. As you know, nowadays everybody got very much acclimatized with the fact that by sharing of toilets and washing area with the infected person, the infection can spread ahead or further. So apart from it, in most of the food setups, we are having a biometric or fingerprint attendance system. So we are supposed to discontinue that thing, right? Then the food premises, toilets, counters, or equipment which are coming in contact with the infected person, they should be thoroughly cleaned with the hot water and detergent, and they should be disinfected with the 0.1% hypochlorite solution or its equivalent solution. Well, the as per the Center for American Indian Health and as per most of the research publication, whenever someone is washing its hand, at least 20 second washing should be done, which it takes at least 20 seconds to completely get rid of the COVID-19 viruses from your hands. Now, talking about the cleaning and sanitation. Well, uh, while doing the cleaning and sanitation of that food business premises, initially it should be carried out in 4 steps like preparation, cleaning, sanitizing and air drying. So while doing the preparation, you are supposed to removing the loose dirt and the food particles. Then rinsing it with the warm or potable water. Then during cleaning, we will be washing with hot water, which will be like 60 degrees Celsius hot, and detergent should be used along with it. Then we are supposed to rinse with clean potable water. Then in next step, the sanitizing one, we are supposed to treat the surfaces with very hot, clean and potable water with a 75 degrees Celsius for with a exposure time of at least 2 minutes. Then in next step or the last step is a air drying. Just leave those benches, counter and equipments or those surfaces of those to air dry. The most hygienic way to dry the equipment is in a draining racks. If small equipments are there, those can be dried well in draining racks. So special instruction for different food sectors. So as the food sector or the food business of it varies different what we can say, the hygienic practices to be employed they are vary. So while doing so, uh, the people those who are involved and in a safe and hygienic food delivery, they should be wearing PPE, they should wash sanitize the hands frequently. They are supposed to practice social distancing like 2 meters away from each other. Then they should handle when they are not having a like systems, and whatever food premise which is utilized, it should be properly clean and sanitized along with the whatever equipments involved. Then PP, what PPs are? Like PP, these are the personal protective equipment for medical workers. But there are a certain category PPE, those are also available commercially in the market for which can be utilized in food preparations. Apart from it, what we can the POs can do.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So there is
Question.
something problem with the
Internet or something to do.
yeah, maybe something. So I'm sharing the screen again, sir. Is it the slide which was going
Yes,
on,
sir.
sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Same,
okay.
sir.
Got it. Okay. So I was talking about the special instruction for different food sectors. Like whenever there should be a different rules and regulations. Means the rules regulations may vary as per the different part or different kind of foods which are involved in the thing. So uh, whatever food is prepared, it should be prepared with the people those who are wearing proper PPE, washing and sanitizing the hands frequently. They should practice the social distancing thing. They should not handle the food when they are not feeling well or they are having some flu like symptoms. Then the then the food premises or the contact surfaces and equipment, they should be clean and sanitized. Like when we are talking about the PPE, I said that the people those who are involved in hygienic food delivery, they should use PPE. Like what is PPE then? So PPE is nothing but a personal protective equipment which is in generally used for medical workers. But uh, commercially nowadays, the PPE is also available for the people those who are involved in the food preparation. So that sort of thing, that sort of PPE can be utilized while preparing food delivery or even the food preparation during nowadays in this pandemic period. Apart from this, the FBOs, they should establish a local emergency response team, and they should nominate one of their staff as a COVID-19 coordinator. That team should develop company protocols or guidelines on that disease. Then that guideline must include the minimum following of list of local authorized hospitals, contact details of professional disinfectant agencies, then dedicated mask, gloves, whatever is required for emergency situations, then isolation rooms, record keeping of all attendance, and detailed record keeping of the confirmed cases which were found to be positive. Well, the people, those who are involved in a part of food chain wherein the food services are involved with the delivery or takeaways. So in that case, the food service area, we can say, there should be a thorough cleaning infection of food services every common touch, doorknobs, equipment, handle of the desk, or even the grocery cart, they should be properly clean and disinfected. Then there should be proper hand wash and sanitation facility available to workers as well as customers, especially at the entry of the particular setup. Then the prevention of surface contamination can be done use of barriers such as tongs, gloves, or even other utensils to prevent direct. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So apart from the different food service cleaning, sanitization, the disinfection thing, and hand washing and sanitation facility, there should not be any open display of ready to eat foods. It should be kept covered with glass display. Then there should be in that particular setup there should be some visual displays of do's and don'ts. Then there should be a provision of pickup zones for customers to help maintain the social distancing. There should be prohibition of self-service, buffet, or even the mass gathering. Then use of disposable utensils or cutlery or even a single-use sachet, like generally which are used for the salt, pepper, sugar, ketchup, etc. That disposable item should not be used. Then everyone should refrain from handling cash. If handled, that wash or sanitize hands properly. Rather, encourage customers to use e-wallets such as UPI, QR codes, even net banking, right? And we can also encourage the customers to place orders online or on telephone, which will be done in well in advance to reduce the waiting time, so that the people need to spend a very less time at the food setup for their takeaways. Now, regarding there are in general the food safety tips during COVID-19. Whenever someone is in someone is there in food retail premises, so what sort of care a person can take when he is in food retail premises? So the food retail premises, it should be properly clean, uniform. The people, those who are there, should use headgear, face mask, and gloves. Then the people, those who are there at the counter, they should limit the number of customers entering the store at one point of time. The hand sanitization at the entry and exit of premises is mandatory. Then the one should use plexiglass barrier at the tills and counters, so that there will not be a direct exposure of customers to the employee. Then one should reduce the stock quantity on a display and create a gap between two products displayed, so that by any chance if some COVID-19 positive customer is handling any product, that particular person will contaminate least number of stuff which is there in the market in that particular food premises. Then apart from it, definitely in this food retail premises as well, or the grocery shops also, people should be encouraged to use the e-wallets or e-payments. And as I said earlier, people, those who are working in that particular thing or particular retail premises, they should use the golden rules for the food delivery. Here you can see in the picture what we can do, as that particular counter is showing that there should be a proper distancing, social distancing should be followed by customers, and a regular announcement for the same should be done again and again by the employer which is there at the counter. Now let us see the countermeasures of food transportation and distribution. So regarding food transportation, we are supposed to train the drivers, loaders, and other staff about the COVID-19 infection, its symptoms, as well as the measures for prevention. One should clean and sanitize the delivery or transport vehicle regularly. The use of vehicle for food delivery or distribution should be done. Then anyone having flu-like symptom should avoid handling or transporting the delivering food. Right? The face covers to be worn at all times by the people, those who are involved in this process. Then people should avoid the use of public toilets and crowded places during the breaks. And then whatever people they are getting sick or ill in the transportation and even the distribution, a thorough record or a thorough relevant record of their positivity should be maintained at the food business operator's office. Regarding food packaging, as I said that definitely there is no scientific evidence suggesting that the infection may occur through food. Definitely there is nothing like that. But definitely the organism or the virus, it may get retained or it may stay alive on some common surfaces which are used or which we touch in a day-to-day life, right? And the retention time on the surface, it varies from 4 hours to 5 days even. So cleaning, sanitizing, and disinfection measures, those should be adopted to ensure that food packaging, it should be kept clean and away from any source of contamination. In air, this particular organism, COVID-19 virus, it stays for 3 hours. On copper, it's the lifespan of COVID-19 is 4 hours. On cardboard, which are very largely and very widely used stuff for the packaging, on cardboards it may stay alive for 24 hours. On stainless steel, it's more than that, like it's 2 to 3 days. And on polypropylene plastic, it is almost for 3 days. So depending on the its survival, depending on the survival of this particular virus on different surfaces, you are supposed to manage or prevent the occurrence or the contamination throughout the food packaging chain. Then there are certain preventive things what the consumers can do while receiving their deliveries, food deliveries. So, and they should keep them quite healthy, like by using like cleaning their home regularly, and particularly the frequently touched surfaces like doorknobs and all that. They should stay home, they should stay safe, they should always stay physically fit by doing exercise regularly. They should eat a nutritious diet, and they should avoid the bad habits like smoking and all. Then talking about some key notes or the key things what a food safety health which can act as a food safety health advice to spread to prevent the spread of this virus. definitely whatever food stuff is coming in your house, you are supposed to wash it very carefully. Then when you are cooking meat for the food, then you are supposed to cook that meat thoroughly. Then to keep yourself hydrated, drink lot of fluid. Then don't share the food utensil or the water bottles or even cups. Then clean the surfaces such as tables with antibacterial bleach and wipes regularly and after certain period of time depending on the exposure. Then when you are using a chopping board and knives, then you are supposed to use different chopping boards for raw and cooked food. And as an immunomodulator, you are supposed to eat lot of vitamin C, so that you can strengthen your immune system. So in this particular slide, you can see certain do's and don'ts which should be followed while even entering and walking through any premises, food premises, which you can see you are not supposed to touch the side walls of the stairs. You are not supposed to touch the doors knobs again and again. Like, just avoid touching any unnecessary surfaces. Do not share your plates while having food. Like a way means the ultimate, in a nutshell, what we can say, the prevention is always better than cure. In this regard, when this particular thing happened in our country, some very nice and very effective initiatives were taken by our government of India, which involved the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package, which is insurance scheme for health workers. Then loss of life. So during COVID-19, the people will get some insurance for that thing. Then accidental death on account of COVID-19. So such kind of very good schemes were launched by government of India for the people, those who are, what we can say, the corona fighters. So that's all about the food safety and the coronavirus thing. But sir, many times what happened amid this COVID-19 pandemic, there is a severe panic among citizens. A lot of them relying on the fake news and messages being spread through social media regarding the coronavirus causes or even modes of treatment. So here is taking a look at some of these questions and that are getting circulated, and let us throw some light of science on those questions. So should grocery store workers wear gloves? Well, the gloves may be used by food workers, but must be changed frequently. And hands must be washed between gloves changes. And when these gloves are removed, again you are supposed to wash your hands. These gloves, they must be changed after carrying out non-food related activities, such as opening or closing the doors by hand and emptying of bins. And these used gloves, they should be must be disposed of properly or appropriately, we must say. Then another question which is mostly discussed, that can the virus survive on surface of foods, especially fruits and vegetables, frozen foods, or even pre-packed foods? Well, see, the coronavirus, it cannot multiply in foods. It has been established by different scientific things. So coronavirus, it cannot multiply in food. So they need a live animal or human host to multiply and survive. So you need not be very quite worrisome about this particular thing. You just need to be very cautious while handling the food. Then another thing, that how do we wash fruits and vegetables? Just water or something else? Well, washing of fruits and vegetables with potable water is really okay. Then another question is that to what temperature the food must be cooked to kill the virus. In general, the virus, it's not more resistant to heat. So as recommended for good hygiene practices, the food should be thoroughly cooked to at least 75 degrees Celsius. After 75 degrees Celsius, no virus will survive in that particular food. Then another question which is really floating nowadays, that Does eating meat cause coronavirus? Well, there is no scientific evidence to prove that coronavirus can spread through meat. On the contrary, it will boost your immunity if you are eating the meat during this period. And definitely, you have to be cautious that the meat should always be cooked thoroughly, and safe food handling practices, those should be followed before its consumption. Then another question which was floated during this COVID pandemic, which was in general related with the kids, that can a woman with a confirmed or suspected COVID-19 breastfeed the kid? Well, yes, the woman with a confirmed or suspected COVID-19 can breastfeed if they wish to do so. Actually, they should, but they should take certain precautions like washing of hands frequently with soap and water, or using of alcohol based hand scrub, and especially before touching the baby. They should wear a medical mask during any contact with the baby, or including while feeding the baby. If they are having the issue of sneezing and coughing, they should sneeze or cough into a tissue, and they should dispose of it immediately and washing the hands again. Routinely cleaning and disinfecting the surfaces that mother have touched. It is also a crucial thing. Then it is also important to replace the medical mask as soon as they become damp and dispose of them immediately. And those masks should not be reused or even touched in the front side. Then another question floating is like eating garlic or ginger will help prevent coronavirus. Now, like see, garlic or ginger, they'll help to boost the immune system, and definitely those things are having antimicrobial properties too. But however, there is no scientific evidence to prove that eating garlic or ginger can prevent the spread of coronavirus. Another question, whether hand dryers are effective in killing coronavirus? Well, to protect yourself against COVID-19, you are supposed to wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Then you can dry them thoroughly by using paper towels or even this sort of warm air dryer. But just don't rely only on hand dryers. Then, what is the best household disinfectant for surface? Frankly speaking, the regular household cleaning and disinfection products, like whatever we are using in day-to-day life, will effectively eliminate the virus from household surfaces. For cleaning and disinfection with suspected or confirmed COVID-19 illness, the surface virucidal disinfection should be used, like 0.05% sodium hypochlorite, and the products which are based on ethanol that too with a at least concentration of 70%. Then another and the last question what I am sharing here regarding the food safety, whether COVID-19 is airborne or not. Well, recently whatever things happen, or day to day as the time is progressing, the facts they are changing, what we can say. Definitely, COVID-19, it is mainly transmitted through droplet which are generated when an infected person coughs or sneezes or speaks even. These droplets are too heavy to hang in the air, and they will fall on surface or on floors. But definitely, recently WHO, together with the scientific community, those people they have been actively discussing and evaluating whether this SARS-CoV-2, it may also spread through aerosol in the absence of aerosol generating procedures, particularly in indoor setting with a poor ventilation places, right? Here you can see that all the stakeholders of food industry, including consumers, they need to act in a very smart manner while tackling this unprecedented pandemic situation, wherein you can see the each alphabet in words smart, it shows the roadmap for success, wherein the S, this S denotes stay home when sick, M denotes mask, you make use of mask when you are outside. Then it denotes the avoiding the large group or social gathering. Then R denotes the refreshing the indoor air. You are supposed to keep keep your air in the house circulating, and try to avoid the use of air conditioners. Then T, it denotes 10 feet is better than 6. Definitely, at least 6 feet distance should be there in between two persons. But if it's more than that, it's always better. So coming to the end of this particular presentation, uh, definitely, so far our food industry is concerned, there are many people, those are working very hard to keep us all safe as well as healthy during this coronavirus pandemic. So here I extend my thanks and recognition to all the producers as well as the frontline workers of the food supply chain for helping everybody to have access to safe and healthy food. Thank you.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you very much,
Hello,
sir.
sir.
Indeed. Hello. Uh, Such a informative and elaborative session you have given regarding to this COVID-19 and what we have to take a special care. Those who are producing, those who are packaging, and those who are delivering the food products. We have to take a special care. And I think all the aspects and all the points we have covered in this presentation. So thank you once again, sir, indeed, for your sparing your valuable time with us for this webinar and accepting our invitation. Firstly. So thank you once again, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, and Dr. Vijay Kere, sir, for inviting me for this particular on such a auspicious day of Food Day for this particular lecture. And definitely, I must say sorry whatever disturbances happen due to the internet thing. But it was fun talking with you. Yeah, thank you. I'm very much thankful to the all management team of Parul University for organizing such a fantastic program here. Thank you.
Now, dear participants, now we start our second session. And already expert and speaker for this today's session, second session, already joined with us, Mr. Omkar K. Kolle. Hello, 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 Mr. Omkar Kolle, sir.
Yes, Ashish, I can hear you.
Yes, okay, okay. So, first of all, welcome to this as a guest speaker for this webinar series. And again, before to start our session, firstly I will introduce about uh, today's speaker or expert, Mr. Omkar Kolle sir. And sir completed master from SLIT, Longwal, Punjab. And again, sir completed BTech from Vasantrao Naik Marathwada Krishi Vidyapit, Parbhani. And sir has a 9 year of professional experience and worked with reputed multinational corporations. And presently, sir, working as a manager in a dehydrated onion and vegetable businesses in ITC Limited in Guntur division, Andhra Pradesh. So, sir has a rich experience in working in such an area like food dehydration, aseptic processing, and all those things. So, definitely, their topic means reimagine food opportunities in food businesses will help us to understand more elaborately what are the business we have to set up and what are the possibilities are there, so we can easily I think so, to understand from this session. So I request to Mr. Kolle sir, please continue the session. Hello.
Yes, Ashish. Thanks for the brief introduction. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, yes, yes.
I'll just put the screen. Ashish, I guess the host has disabled the participant screen sharing. Hello?
Hello.
Ashish, you will have to give the control for the sharing.
It is there, sir.
No, it is giving a message that host disabled participant screen sharing.